I think we can all agree that the Democratic National Convention was an amazing event, and last night was a perfect culmination of said event. A lot of great speakers during the convention all week long, but I want to talk about one segment last night. And this was when members of the Central Park Five spoke. Now, if you don't know what the Central Park Five story is about, I need to tell you. Back in the late 80s in New York City, there was a young woman jogging through Central Park. She was attacked, raped, and brutalized, and people were naturally in an uproar. They wanted to find the culprits. They wanted to find and punish the guilty party. Well, they settled on 5 teenage kids, not adults, teenage kids. They seemingly had the proof to show that they were the ones that attacked this woman. There were 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and one 16-year-old. These kids were arrested, adjudicated, convicted, and sent to prison. Now, the 16-year-old was tried as an adult, was sent to Rikers. The others were sent to a juvenile detention. Now, while this is all going on and people are scared and upset, Donald Trump, then just a businessman of note, comes out and buys an ad in the New York Times. He pronounces them guilty and says they should be executed. That's a pretty strong statement, but people were really concerned and upset and nervous about what happened. So Donald Trump says they should be executed. Then some years later, we find out that somebody else confessed to the crime and that DNA exonerated all 5 of these young kids. So, of course, they were released after a period of time. It was tragic that these kids, teenagers, had to suffer through being confined, one at Rikers Island and the others in a juvenile detention center for no good reason. They were absolutely innocent. But here's the telling thing. When that happened, when they were found to be innocent, when they were released, somebody went to Donald Trump and said, Donald, look, man, you said they should be executed, but they're not guilty. Do you want to take that back? You want to retract it? You want to apologize? Donald Trump said, no, I'm going to stick with the first decision. Yeah, but Donald, there's DNA. There's a confession. He said, I'm sticking with the first decision. Now, why did Donald Trump do that? Donald Trump could do that or would do that because of his mental illness, being a malignant narcissist. Donald Trump absolutely cannot admit that he's wrong ever, ever. And in this circumstance, he refused to admit he was wrong. He would instead prefer to see young children, teenage kids, executed for no good reason, as opposed to him admitting that he was wrong. This is the kind of human Donald Trump is. It's not just this situation. This may be the most egregious, but there are so many other things where he chooses himself over anybody and everybody else. That's who he is. That's what you have to understand when we go into this election. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about me. He only cares about himself, but he will be happy to sacrifice us to benefit him.